Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. Welcome to another episode of It Takes Two, the program where we explore the challenges that naturally occur in marriage and try to come up with solutions that help people to live in more loving and meaningful relationships. To my left, I have my co-host, Sister Ruby. Alaikum salam. And to my right, Sheikh Ahmed Hanif. Assalamu alaikum,
Wa
Sheikh.
alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Nice
Great.
to be here.
Oh, excellent, Sheikh. Excellent to have you, as always. I'd like to jump into the first letter, see if we can explore the psychology and the from an Islamically philosophical point of view also. It reads, my husband is lovely. We have been married for a couple of years, but I am finding my marriage very difficult. I do not find him attractive at all, and if I'm completely honest, I think I like women. Wow.
Wow.
Anonymous. What say you, Sheikh, now?
Well, when you analyze this statement that she's making, right? At the beginning, she says, my husband is lovely. And so being lovely is an attractive thing. In the middle, she says, but I don't find him attractive. And at the end, she says, I think I like women. All right? So this not finding him attractive, okay, is a specific kind of not finding him attractive. She probably thinks that she does not find men attractive. Her husband is a man. He's lovely, but she doesn't find him attractive. And therefore, she comes to the conclusion that she might be attracted to women. My question to her would be, how do you know you're attracted to women? All right? Do you find yourself fantasizing about women in a physically intimate situation, for example? Do you find yourself attracted to women on that type of a level? You know, when you look at them, you're attracted to them as a potential physical partner, a potential mate, you know? Or do you come to that conclusion, okay, without that experience, just by thinking that my husband is a man, I'm not attracted to my husband, therefore I'm not attracted to men, and it means that I might be attracted to women. You see?
Like a weird use of logic.
Yeah,
Incorrect
and
use of
I
logic,
think that has a lot to do with, for example, what's happening in schools today.
Say a bit more about that, Sheikh.
You know, for example, in schools, in sexual education in schools, for example, they teach that homosexuality is as natural an orientation as heterosexuality. Okay? So you have basically heterosexuality and homosexuality, which are choices. And they talk to the kids in such a way for the kids to sort of think that, okay, look, you either have a defined sexual identity, okay, or you're undecided, you know, and you could make up your mind later on. You find yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay? And so she could be going along with that type of a thing. You know what I mean? Maybe her husband might not be the appropriate person to press her buttons.
Physically.
Right? Physically speaking. You know, or even psychologically.
Yes.
Right?
Just not a good match. Not
Might be a good match. He might be a great guy with the kids and, you know, a job and taking care of her and everything. A lovely man.
Subjective. He's purely
exactly.
subjective, yeah.
Right?
She's just not attracted to him.
That might be her cup of tea.
Yeah.
You see? And because of this, she might be led to thinking this. So I have to tell the sister, basically, look, being a lesbian is not an option. From an Islamic point of view, it's a sinful situation. All right? That basically...
Do you mean actively pursuing that act, or if you internally feel that
actively
you are
pursuing it.
that
actively pursuing it. Yes.
Desires are different.
You might have your desire on the inside,
but
okay?
you're not actively
but you do not have,
it.
you cannot, it is forbidden for you to express that desire and activate it, right? To actualize it, you know? And the other thing I think is that the fact that she has a doubt, she's not that certain about even the attractive.
Language sounds
Yeah, she's not yeah. So I think, again, this is another case where they would need some kind of counseling type of intervention and that type of thing.
Well, lots of studies have shown that with females, it's very common, especially as girls growing into womanhood, for females to have some doubt about where they are and what they're attracted to. Women naturally are, pretty well put together, very concerned about how they look, the way they're presented, the way they smell. So, you know, studies have shown that a lot of women have gone through a phase, either through school or one time in another, doubting, well, actually, I prefer neat and tidy as opposed to like a guy who might not be aware that he looks a certain way or is presented in a certain way. That doesn't necessarily always presume that you have homosexual tendencies. It could just be a lot of the time they do, but it also may be a phase where you're just questioning who you are, what you are. You have so many, as the Sheikh said, so many messages almost saying it's okay. Sometimes you feel like you're barraged by this other agenda to be
a pro agenda.
Well, it's not even a pro agenda that if you question something or if you're not happy, then you need to be in this box or in that box. And then you find out you don't fit in anywhere because you are so multifaceted. So I wouldn't be hard, if I was the sister, I wouldn't be hard on myself, herself, in having these feelings. But I would give myself the opportunity to explore what it is that I'm feeling. Maybe she's saying, as the Sheikh said, she's just not physically or psychologically finding her spouse attractive. Mm-hmm. So maybe she will find somebody else who's attractive, or maybe she's at a stage where she's not really thinking about intimacy on that level. It just might be, I think I have a preference here, but I might not actualize it.
So it's a very tough situation, isn't it? I mean, in the sense of, if I was able to ask her a question, I would ask her, I mean, how long has it, had these feelings? Was it before you were married? Is it something that's arisen? Because there's the when, the why, the how, the where. Like there's a whole host of questions to ask her that would give her context.
She doesn't know.
Yeah, she doesn't sound clear.
She doesn't know.
She doesn't sound
right?
clear.
Because if she, she could have said, "I find women attractive," but she said that, didn't she?
I think
she thinks she finds women attractive.
Yeah. She thinks she finds women attractive.
But that could be because of the way they're put together, the way you dress, the way, her surroundings, her group of people. And she might be like, oh, like little girls when they're growing up and they're playing mummies and daddies and they always go off, their best friends are the most attractive little girl in the class or whatever, the most popular. Maybe she's going through that type of phase in her life where she doesn't know.
Are we in denial that there will be, is it possible that there are some people that are Muslim that will have out and out desires for members of the same sex?
Of course.
We're not in denial, we accept that.
Of course, there are Muslims who, look, homosexual tendencies could either be learned, or they could be something more natural than that. Mm-hmm. And there's no doubt about that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I think it's quite possible for us to have a Muslim, right, or even practicing Muslims, who may have homosexual tendencies or who may even act upon them, right, while still being practicing Muslims.
Well, where's the shock horror in that?
You know what I mean? But I think what makes this situation a very modern type of a situation, right, is the fact that her having a problem of attraction to her husband, right, leads her to just look at other sexual possibilities, right, as a box ticking kind of a thing. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not that, therefore I am this. And this is the new situation.
That sounds a bit modern.
That has come out, yes. You see? And they make it look as if it's a normal thing, but it is not a normal thing. Okay? And this is the problem that is creating a problem for her. You see? I think what we have to let that woman know is that this is not an option from an Islamic point of view. Okay? And
what is not an option?
Taking the lesbian out, or, the lesbian.
Well, she didn't say
path.
She's going to actualize those
No,
things.
she didn't. You know what I mean? But there's certain implications here, right? My husband is great.
And we're not just speaking to that woman at the end of the day. This is a public conversation. So anybody that has those considerations, I guess you're just laying down the line to say Islamically. Yeah. I mean, this is what the fuqaha say regarding that type of behavior, I guess.
Yeah. And identity could be seen from an essentialist point of view. You know what I mean? I am a man, for example, right? And it could also be seen from a sort of accidental point of view, where, for example, I am a student, you see? Now, the accidental aspect is has no relationship to me in my essence. All right? So, for example, I can say...
Circumstantial.
It's circumstantial. So if you say you are X, right? Let's say, for example, a lesbian. Okay? If you don't act upon it, there's no real basis for you to say, no firm basis to say, I am this. You know what I mean?
Well, some people would argue with you about that, because they'll say if you acknowledge it and you feel that way, then you are. You don't need to actualize it. I think Islamically what we're saying is, if you actualize it, then it's a different...
That's what makes you are. Because,
right.
for example, the role of Nia in sin. You know what I mean? Somebody can get me so upset, in my mind, I'd like to murder them. Okay? But it does not make me a murderer because I don't act upon it. You see? I think sexual problems are also like that.
Do you think, but it seems in the modern era, it's using sexuality, it's like as if that rule doesn't apply. So just your thinking, as you mentioned, your thinking makes you that. You are that.
Yes.
So you need to go and act upon that. That's what the secular society says, but I guess Islamic society is saying something different, whether it's to say fast or seek advice or...
What Islam sees, I think the way Islam views sexuality is that it sees sexuality as a gradient. Okay? It's a gradient, like a bell curve. All right? You know, and the two extreme sides of the bell curve largely are concerned with haram activities. Not all of it, I say largely, right? Largely are concerned with haram activities. The middle of the bell curve is heterosexual behavior. Okay? And this is the norm. You know, and everybody should aspire towards that. Okay? The other aspects, the ends of the bell curve, these are marginal activities, and they are marginalized in Islamic society. Okay? And so these activities are allowed to be practiced privately, even though they are condemned. When I say allowed, I mean, for example, not that you say it's fine, no. Okay, but you are free as long as you are hiding it or keeping it on the down low. All right, so you might be gay, right? You might have a partner that you're living with for years in a house, in a building. You could leave the place with your holding hands. Okay, nobody has the right to say you're gay, as long as they did not see you act intimately in public.
In reality, that is not the case. People assume things all the time.
Yeah, but from an Islamic point of view,
they don't have a right to charge you. That would be a character
Islamic
assassination.
countries, you would be stoned to death if he was seen, you know.
But is that Sharia or is that just mob mentality?
No. I mean, it's Sharia, right? What happens is that the community...
Not in the stoning, just two guys were holding hands, so we stoned them.
No,
is that Islamic or is
no,
that
it's not Islamic. It's not Islamic at all. It's not Islamic at all. There must be some proof. There must be witnesses.
There's due process, right?
There's due process, right? This particular act, okay? Unless you want to confess it yourself.
Yeah.
All right? So basically, even though she might think that she might find women attractive, it does not necessarily lead to the fact that she is by identity a lesbian.
What's your thoughts, sister?
I'm thinking maybe she's not physically satisfied by her husband. A possibility there. Maybe he's not pulling his weight. But if it was the shoe on the other foot, we'll be saying to the sisters, oh, maybe you could do this, that, and the other. We don't know.
That's a very good point. I think it's an excellent point. We find in modern society the feminization of men. Okay? And we find in lesbian society the masculinization of women. Okay? So here's a man marrying a woman and is being feminized. You know, get in touch with the feminine side, be soft, be this and that, not be bossy, not be...
Nothing wrong with being soft and putting lotion on.
But that becomes the dominant thing, you see, right? Whereas in lesbian relationships, you find a woman who takes the role as the man, okay, takes a dominant role, okay, acts in a stereotypical, many of them, not all of them, right, in a stereotypical dominant type of a way, almost like a parody, even, you know, where they act in a dominant manner. You see, so you have now, for example, one of the dialogues in terms of you know, be sexually satisfying a woman, for men to learn from dominant lesbian women how to be dominant with a woman, for example.
Bizarre.
Okay? Right? So she might, for example, not necessarily have a problem with her husband as a man, okay, in terms of a biological man, right? But her husband in terms of a functional man, okay, when it comes to intimate relationships, in terms of the psychological component.
So is it something that they may benefit from couple counseling, individual
counseling?
Definitely.
Definitely.
But I don't think maybe she doesn't feel comfortable with addressing that with her husband.
So maybe individual counseling first?
I would say so. Work on yourself and then gain the confidence to take it wider. Because you don't know what his reaction is. He might be so appalled, goes and tells his family, he tells the community, he tells her. I think she needs to process it herself first in a safe area and see what happens.
Okay.
And I think what would be good is some Islamic counselling as well, because it helps you put that Islamic perspective into it rather than going to a counsellor who's going to tell you about Freud and God knows what, which will confuse you even more, and they have no knowledge or background about where you're coming from.
Or coming from
good guys always end up last. When I think my husband is a lovely man, I can imagine how this lovely is, right? It's all the lovely things about a guy, okay, that does not impress a girl. Okay, when that edge is not there.
Maybe he's not that. Maybe she feels guilty about the way she feels, and she's trying to take the onus off of him and putting it on her, almost being altruistic about it. Maybe he's not that lovely. Maybe he's just a regular guy.
You sounded like you were going to say something about the ruffian. Say something about
just taking
reading between the lines.
Okay, my husband is a lovely man. Okay, I get the impression of lovely.
Lovely can be boring.
Yes.
Safe.
Yes. All right. And so this man isn't necessarily the man she wants, but she probably can't put a finger on it. You see? Because one of the problems in Western society, okay, it's two-faced.
Say a bit more,
right? It's two-faced.
I'm intrigued.
All right?
I'm intrigued too.
Yeah. You know,
Good.
There is a relationship, okay, of dominance and submission when it comes to men and women. Okay? It doesn't have to be in any kind of extreme sense. You know what I'm saying? Right? But there is a relationship like this. Okay? When you look at, for example, same-sex relationships, it becomes very apparent. Okay? The one that has the male role, whether it is in a gay man or lesbian relationship, right, shows this type of dominance. Okay? Because they have to compensate. Okay? They're same sex. You see?
So still trying to create that order.
What do you call that polarity.
Polarity.
Okay, that polarity, because it's between polarity that things move, right? Things don't move when things are horizontal. Things move when it's like that. Okay, and this is where the lovely man, right? This is a good guy. This is a really, really good guy. Okay, he brings home the groceries.
Well, how do we know?
You know, he does everything. He does everything she says. He calls
her and tells her what time he'll be home.
How do we know this? We're
you know
assuming.
What I'm saying? Yeah, I'm assuming he's a lovely man.
Yeah. He could be to his mother,
He's
but not
very
to
indulgent
her.
towards her, right? Whenever she stands up to jump, he says how high. Okay, lovely man.
Maybe
But she's not attracted to him. Why? Because there's something that is lacking.
Challenge.
Okay, when she tells him, you know, come here, you know, sometimes he gotta say, no, I'm busy, for example. But my lovely guy is gonna drop everything and come. Okay? Now, if she's a good Muslim girl and never had relationships before with men, this is her first relationship with a man, the man she's married to. I'm making assumptions.
Can we just, one minute.
Okay.
Can we just take that
back?
Okay,
let's go back.
Can we, yes, I would like to.
Yes.
I'd like to delete the good Muslim girl bit, and I would like to fast forward as if that never happened. If she was a God-fearing, practicing Muslim lady. You can go ahead now.
Yes. If she was a God-fearing, practicing Muslim lady, all right, they were married a couple of years, it's possible that this is her first marriage.
Yeah.
All right? It's also possible that she didn't have any relationships with men before that.
Yeah. She hasn't known men in that
Okay?
way. Yeah. Yeah. Other
Right?
men in that way. Yeah.
It's possible that, for example, this lack of what she needs instinctively, that she does not know.
Doesn't understand.
In terms of articulating. Right? For example, a dominant male in the relationship. Okay? Leads her not to be attracted to this man who's lovely.
That word lovely just sounds too safe in the context. Good,
yeah, right?
Well, maybe
and therefore she could, because of her educational background or cultural background in this society, okay, she's now ready to possibly tick another box and say, well, look, my husband is a man, I'm married to this man, he's a great guy, okay, by all standards,
but
not attracted to him, so I must be
what else could it be? I mean, I must be.
Or maybe she's being very polite and using the term lovely as a sign of respect and endearment towards that man, who maybe might not be lovely. Or maybe she is actually gay.
Well, I mean, I don't think you can get it from this, what you're saying, because when she says a lovely man, you know...
He's a nice person.
Well, nice guys, that's what I said, nice
Lovely
guys.
means lovely,
yes,
but
maybe
lovely could
not
mean
for
boring,
her. Maybe
or could be exciting.
Exactly.
Nice
Could
guy.
But he might be lovely to his mother or to the neighbour.
Well, he's a nice
but
guy.
not lovely in the way that she wants.
Have you never heard this saying, like when we say, like in secular Western societies, when people talk about dating, non-Muslim people talk about dating, and one woman will speak about, what did you think of that guy? Oh, he's really a nice guy. But that's how the sentence starts. But basically, I'm not going to date him because he's boring.
No, he's a nice guy, but he's not for me.
That's how the euphemism starts. Oh, he's a lovely fella. But nah,
Charming,
he's not
but
going
not
any further.
for me.
He's not going to go, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of, I don't know if I'm right or
because
wrong, but
women are attracted to men who are bold, okay? Men who can tell them no, not necessarily tell them no all the time, okay? Men who can tell them no, okay?
Yeah.
Men who...
Not a beast or a monster, but
no,
there must be some starch.
A man who
a bit of starch.
is assertive.
Yeah.
Okay? And you know, again, we go
What
back to this
are
whole
you
business
saying,
about
yeah?
nice guys finish last. When you hear about a nice guy finishing last in, let's say, a dating type of a relationship or whatever, okay?
Yeah.
It's about this guy who just bends over backwards completely to please a woman, okay? Without asserting his own needs or his own rights, you know, and that type of a thing. You see? And I think it's a problem because you have a lot of young Muslim men who have not dated, for example, of course, alhamdulillah, right? But who need to know about women.
So they need some kind of mentoring.
Exactly,
in this
right? So he
aspect.
could be a really nice guy. When she said my husband was a lovely guy, I take her word for it, okay? He's a really nice guy, and he might be just too nice, okay? You know, he needs to tell his wife no sometimes.
We don't even know. I think we're
Of course
assuming
we
a
don't
lot
know.
here.
I mean, of course we're assuming
So we're
things.
assuming a lot.
So what maybe Sheikh may be alluding to is that there are guys who are too nice.
Yeah, of course.
Those
there
guys.
There are sisters that are too nice too and become doormats.
But we're speaking about the guy at this point.
Well,
At
why are
this
we-
juncture.
why are
At this particular, we think there's
Well, what-
enough
but
room
this-
for.
but
There's
the
enough room to
subject is-
explore both. But
This is
we're
about
dealing
the
with the guy.
sister going through some, transformative issues, and we're focusing on the guy that he's lovely. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
we should
but-
be focusing on the sister.
Yeah, but her transformative issues
so
are related to the guy.
so
it's related
inseparable.
to the guy.
Inseparable.
It's related to him being a lovely dude.
And I'm sure she's a lovely sister.
And on a serious note, I pray inshallah that she finds some resolve and maybe goes for some counselling,
Definitely,
individual
some
counselling.
Islamic
Preferably from
yes.
practicing Muslim counsellors.
Definitely. So they understand where she's coming from.
Inshallah, as I say, culturally appropriate counselling.
Yes.
Only because of time, we're going to stop for a short break, and then we'll be back after the break. So hope to see you then. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.